Joe is running out of time. Lioness Season 3 has reached a dangerous turning point. After the events of Episode 4, Joe McNamara's situation appears more serious than ever. The Lioness team is now facing a threat that may be much larger than a single kidnapping or operation gone wrong. And heading into Episode 5, the biggest question is simple. Is Joe about to die? The danger surrounding Joe has continued to grow, and the people trying to save her may not even know the full extent of what they're dealing with. Every decision now carries consequences, and one wrong move could turn a rescue mission into a disaster. But Joe may not be the only person in danger. Because while everyone is focused on bringing her home, Kaitlyn may be preparing a plan that could change the entire operation. And Russia is still watching. Kaitlyn's plan could change everything. Kaitlyn has always been one of the smartest and most calculating people in the Lioness world. She rarely makes decisions based purely on emotion. That is what makes her next move so dangerous. If Joe has truly become the center of a much larger international operation, Kaitlyn may be forced to make an impossible choice. Does she risk everything to save Joe? Or does she use the situation to expose the people responsible? That could be the twisted part of her plan. What if Kaitlyn realizes that the people holding Joe are connected to a much bigger network? Instead of immediately destroying that network, she may decide to let the situation continue just long enough to discover who's really behind it. But that would put Joe in an impossible position. Imagine knowing that your own team is coming for you, but they aren't coming immediately because they need information. Kaitlyn could be gambling with Joe's life. And if that's what Episode 5 is setting up, then the rescue may not happen the way we expect. Could Joe become the bait? Here's where the theory gets even darker. What if Joe isn't simply a hostage? What if she's the bait? The people behind this operation may know exactly who Joe is and what she represents. Capturing her isn't just about removing one CIA operative from the board. Joe has connections. She has access. She has relationships with some of the most powerful people involved in these operations. Keeping Joe alive could force the CIA to react. And every reaction could reveal something. That means the enemy may be watching Kaitlyn just as closely as Kaitlyn is watching them. If she sends in a rescue team, they may be ready. If she negotiates, they gain leverage. And if she does nothing, Joe could die. It's a perfect trap. But Kaitlyn has spent her entire career dealing with people who believe they can predict her. And that may be exactly why her next move could be something nobody sees coming. Russia's next move. Then there's Russia. The Russian connection is one of the biggest questions hanging over the story right now. If Russia is directly connected to the people targeting Joe, then this operation may be about much more than revenge. Joe could simply be the first piece. Russia may be testing how far the CIA is willing to go to protect one of its own. And that creates an interesting theory. What if Joe's capture is meant to trigger a larger conflict? The people holding her may not actually expect to escape. They may be waiting for the United States to make a mistake. A failed rescue. A military response. An unauthorized operation. Any of these could create the exact international incident Russia needs. If that's true, then Kaitlyn's biggest problem isn't rescuing Joe. It's rescuing Joe without starting something bigger. And that's going to be incredibly difficult. Is Joe really going to die? Of course, the biggest question surrounding Episode 5 is whether Joe will actually survive. Joe has been in dangerous situations before. She's been shot at, hunted, manipulated, and forced to make impossible choices. But this situation feels different. This time, Joe isn't fully in control. And that is what makes the possibility of her death feel more real. However, I don't think the show is necessarily preparing to kill Joe. Instead, I think Episode 5 could take something more important away from her. Her trust. Joe may survive physically, but what happens when she discovers that someone knew about the threat? What if someone inside the operation gave the enemy information? What if her capture wasn't an accident? That brings us to the biggest theory heading into Episode 5. The real enemy could already be inside. What if Russia isn't the real enemy? What if they're simply taking advantage of a weakness that already existed? Someone may have helped expose Joe. Someone may have known where she was going. Someone may have known enough about the operation to make her vulnerable. And if that person is still inside the system, rescuing Joe won't solve the problem. The mole will still be there, watching, waiting, and perhaps feeding information to the next enemy. This could explain why Kaitlyn's plan may appear so ruthless. Maybe she isn't only trying to save Joe. Maybe she's trying to find out who sold her. And if that's the case, Joe's kidnapping could become the key to exposing the biggest traitor of the season. Final theory. My biggest theory is that Episode 5 will reveal that Joe's situation is part of a much larger game. Kaitlyn may deliberately make the enemy believe that she is predictable. She could allow them to think Joe has been abandoned. Then, when they make their next move, Kaitlyn could strike. But there is one major problem. Joe has to survive long enough for that plan to work. Russia is still moving. The enemy may have someone inside the operation. And Kaitlyn could be preparing her most dangerous plan yet. So, will Joe die in episode 5? My prediction is no. But she may come closer to death than ever before. And when she finally gets out, she may discover something far worse than the people who capture her. She may discover that the enemy didn't find her by accident. Someone showed them exactly where to look. And if Kaitlyn's plan really is designed to expose that person, then episode 5 could completely change the direction of Lioness season 3. Because the mission may no longer be about saving Joe. It may be about discovering who sold her out. And once the mole is finally exposed, nobody inside the Lioness program will be safe.